Pretty things in ivory flakes, they're fast and gentle too. Pretty things stay soft and lovely, so it's ivory flakes for you. Undies, sweaters, and slips and nighties too. Keep 'em looking lovely, lady, yes, it's ivory flakes for you.
Ivory flakes are the fast flake form of baby's pure, mild ivory soap. Just the ticket for anything that needs gentle washing care.
Your pretty rayon nightgowns, for instance. They need ivory flakes.
Remember, rayon's apt to be weaker when it's wet.
Yes, don't risk your bright rayon nightgowns in strong soaps. Wash those pretty tea rose gowns, those cool blues and soft pinks, in lukewarm ivory flake suds and help 'em stay lovely longer.
That's what we did with the blue Corticelli rayon nightgown. Washed it 35 consecutive times in ivory flakes and helped it stay looking nice as new.
That's a fact. The delicate blue was still soft and lovely. So don't think your nighties have to be faded after just a few washings.
Not when you use ivory flakes. That way you can suds them and save them.
Undies, sweaters, and slips and nighties too. Keep 'em looking lovely, lady, yes, it's ivory flakes for you.
This program came to you from Chicago and New York. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
And now, get ready to smile again with radio's home folks, Vic and Sade, written by Paul Riley. Yep, they're here again. Your good friends, Vic and Sade, brought to you by the makers of Crisco. And with them is Mrs. Beach, your radio neighbor. Mrs. Beach is all enthusiastic today about the new Victory Food Special. These Victory Food Specials, remember, are now using foods the Department of Agriculture says are especially good buys.
Well, you know, friends, taking advantage of these Victory Food Specials is a big contribution we can make in this war, and it's such an easy thing to do. Why, our own good domestic cheeses are the Victory Food Special right now, and cheese is something we should serve more often anyway. It's one of the most nutritious foods there is. And there are so many ways of including cheese in our meals. For instance, have you ever tried a toasted cheese top on an apple pie? You just lay narrow strips of cheese across the top crust and then toast it under the broiler until the cheese just begins to melt. My, it's good. The combination of that toasted cheese flavor and that tender, flaky Crisco pie crust is just about perfect. At least that's what my husband says. And like all men, he's pretty fussy about pie. I know before Crisco's new pastry method came along, I used to turn out a tough pie crust occasionally, and how he'd complain. But not anymore, because every pie I make this new Crisco way has a tender, flaky crust. In fact, that's what the Crisco people guarantee you. Tender, flaky pie crust every time or your money back. Yes, they're so sure of this new Crisco pastry method, they'll actually refund you the price of a whole pound of Crisco if you aren't satisfied with your Crisco pie crust. You see, Crisco's different from other shortenings at your store. It's specially made just to give you tender, flaky pie crust. And that's why I'm so anxious for you all to try Crisco and the new Crisco pastry method. The method is right on the Crisco label, you know. So try it real soon, won't you? Try it for that toasted cheese apple pie I was talking about. And now let's drop in for a visit with Vic and Sade.
Well, sir, it's a few minutes past 12 o'clock noon as our scene opens now. And here in the living room of the small house halfway up in the next block, we find Mrs. Victor Gook and young Mr. Rush Gook. Sade is established on the Davenport, and her son, who just this moment arrived home from a vigorous morning of baseball in Tatman's vacant lot, seats himself beside her, saying cheerfully,
Meat's not done, huh?
No, and won't be for a little bit.
Maybe I ought to pretend to fly into a frenzy of rage like Gov does when dinner's not ready.
Yeah. Well, you appreciate how long it takes beef punkos to cook tender.
Uh-huh. We discussed it as I was leaving this morning. The subject of beef punkos flitted through my brains quite often during the ball game. You take a fellow along about the fourth or fifth inning, they get hungry. Well, I almost missed a high fly in short left field because I got to thinking how delicious beef punkos
Oh, hey, Willie, before I forget.
Yeah?
You're to come down to Hamilton's at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
What for?
School closed. School starts in 2 weeks, and you have to have...
I'm to meet you down in Hamilton's at 3 o'clock this afternoon to buy school clothes?
Yes. What's the matter?
Impossible.
Impossible nothing. You don't have to play baseball every minute of the day and night. Why, are you supposed to
This
be
has
Sunday?
got nothing to do with baseball.
Whatever it's got something to do with, I'll expect to see you at 3 o'clock
It's
on
all
the dot.
set. My mother picks out my school clothes again this year, huh?
Of course it's all set. Your mother picks out your school clothes.
Do you realize how long this has been going on?
Well, I expect I could think back.
When I'm a
figure
man
out.
59 years old and married to some woman, will I have to meet my mother downtown so she can pick out my school clothes?
When you're a man 59 years old and married to some woman, very likely you won't be attending school. I hope not, at least. Now, Willie, don't raise any silly fusses. It's a warm day, and what's the sense of getting all hot under the collar?
I can't meet you this afternoon, Mom. I'm afraid that's final.
Hippity hop and the hogs got out.
If there can't be any other arrangements made, if my mother's determined to pick out my clothes, I'll meet you some other day this week. I'll meet you at the clothing store either first thing in the morning when they're just opening and nobody's around, or else I'll meet you last thing in the evening when they're just closing and nobody's around. If I have to have the humiliation of my mother buying my clothes at my age.
You'll meet me on the second floor of Hamilton's at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and furthermore...
I can't, Mom.
You can't, huh?
No.
Tell me why you can't.
Nicer Scott's going to be down picking out his school clothes this afternoon.
Oh?
Alone.
Well, I guess that's a horrible, horrible
He was telling the guys
coincidence.
over in Tapman's vacant lot about it not a quarter of an hour ago. Bragging like a horse. Well, fellas, he says, I won't be around after dinner. I have to stroll downtown and replenish the old wardrobe.
His mother will be with him. His mother...
His mother won't be with him. His mother won't be with him. He made a big special point of that. He's going to shop for clothes all by himself. Mr. and Mrs. Scott have got charge accounts at Hamilton's, Kleberger's, Rogers, MC.
We haven't got charge accounts at all them places.
Got a charge account at Kleberger's.
I'm only going to buy a few items at Kleberger's. Your shirts, socks, and neckties. Your suit I'll probably get at Hamilton's, and your shoes...
Okay, but at least you can see we'll have to postpone this business till later on in the week.
Why?
Because Nicer Scott will be downtown this afternoon. I can't afford to have him on hand watching my mother pick out my clothes for me. He'd never let me forget it. He'd taunt me the next 40 years. I have to listen to sneers and insults and slurs.
Willie, I don't like to antagonize you and excite you. You know that. And I'll bet if you think a minute or two, you'll realize maybe this isn't such a terrible life and death
You
situation.
appreciate what a scoundrel Nicer Scott is. There's nothing he'd love better than to enjoy my misery and humiliation, watching my mother select shoes for me and field suit material and discuss with the lame-brained clerks the prices.
I doubt if he buys his own school clothes, Rush.
What?
I doubt if Nicer picks out his own school clothes.
He does. Telephone his mother. Find out for yourself.
Maybe she tells him exactly what she wants him to buy.
All right, fine. Wonderful. Perfect. You tell me exactly what you want me to buy. I'll get it.
Trouble is, Rush, I don't know myself. I'll have to look over what they got and price the different
Mom, if I met you down in Hamilton's this afternoon, we'd bump in a Nicer sure as shooting. His face would light up with fiendish glee. He'd gloat and jeer. Why, I can hear him. Clerk, trot out your finest fabrics. I have to have quick service and don't show me nothing sleazy. Is this lady and her little boy ahead of me? I'll wait while Mama buys booties and bibs for the little fella.
Oh, Willie, goodness. You sound serious and all, but I just can't...
I am serious.
If it wasn't for...
Okay, I give in. I'll let my mother pick out my clothes for me. But it'll have to be some other day this week. That's satisfactory with you?
No.
It's not satisfactory with you?
All the stores are having sales on boys' things today. Today and only today. There's money to be saved. We're not so rich we can let bargains go.
I am feeling pretty desperate about this, Mom.
Well, stop feeling pretty desperate. I agree with you. Nicer is a smart aleck and would probably take advantage by teasing and making fun, but a person can't help circumstances, can they?
I'll go down this afternoon and pick out my school clothes by myself. If my selections don't suit you, we can return the stuff tomorrow.
You can't exchange sale goods. I see you feel pretty strong about this, Willie, but circumstances are circumstances, and I don't know what's to be done about it. So, be a sport and play ball. It won't take us very long to buy you a suit and shoes and the different stuff you need. Why, land, you might not even see Nicer Scott.
How do you figure? He'll be in every store downtown.
He might be in different stores at different times from us.
Huh.
Anyway, what do you care what he thinks and does? You're neither one of you infants. Goodness, when did you turn into a piece of flimsy cut glass? Things are the way they are, and there's no help for it. You'll face a lot worse miserable situations than this before you die. So, you drop what you're doing at 3 o'clock and meet us down in Hamilton's.
Us?
I'll be on the second floor there.
You said us.
Miss Stembottom and me.
Miss Stembottom.
Miss Stambottom and Miss Trogle and Miss Gophers.
No.
Willie, I'm getting
There'll be
tired.
4 ladies picking out my clothes?
Oh, 4 ladies, my undershirt. Miss Stambottom and Miss Trogle and Miss Gophers don't give a snap about you and your clothes. Just that we're going shopping together and arranged.
But they'll be there, won't they?
Be where?
In Hamilton.
Well, there's no law that prohibits people from going into a department store.
My mother, Miss Stambottom, Miss Trogle, and Miss Gophers. 4 ladies, all told, skulking around me there in Hamilton's while I try on coat and pants.
They got little dressing rooms where you try on coat and pants.
In full view of nicer Scott, I will appear in Hamilton's department store in the company of 4 separate and distinct ladies who will select my school
I'm
clothes.
getting just a little weary of this talky-talk rush. In the first place, it's childish. You know yourself.
Telephone's ringing.
Most likely Bluetooth Johnson. Answer it.
I haven't the heart to face any friend of mine.
You won't be facing him. You'll be talking to him over the phone.
Oh,
Answer that. And don't get in any long conversation. I bet our beef punkles are about done.
hello.
Oh, ish.
Yes, I believe she is.
Oh, a person would think you were at death's door.
No, I'm not ill. Just 1 second. Here's my mother.
Miss Stambottom?
Oh, I don't know.
Is it Miss Stambottom?
I don't know.
I asked you a question, Rush.
I don't know who it is.
I advise you not to carry this nonsense too far, Dr. Sleech. Hello? Oh, yes. Oh, never felt better, thanks. And yourself? Fine. Why, yes. Oh. Well, I thought around 3 o'clock.
Why are you looking at me?
Oh. Well, Miss Trogle, Miss Stambottom, Miss Gophers are going too. Uh-huh.
Why are you looking at me, Mom?
What?
What are you looking at me so funny for?
We thought we'd meet in at Hamilton's. Yes. 2nd floor. Yes, at 3 o'clock. Well, dandy. All right, Miss... All right. You bet, Miss... goodbye.
Mrs. Who?
Well, we better skip out to the kitchen, and these punkles will get cooked too much.
Who was that on the telephone?
Just now?
Yes.
Friend of mine.
Lady?
Well, of course. Would I be meeting any gentlemen down in Hamilton's this afternoon?
5 ladies, huh? Gonna be on deck to pick out my school clothes?
Oh, ish, Willie. Hey, let's run and check up on them beef punkles. Now, but they're just exactly as tender as they ought to be. And
Mom.
looking at... What?
Who was that on the telephone just now?
Miss Tisdall.
Oh?
Now, let's quit hemming and hawing and arguing.
Is Mildred gonna be with her?
What?
Is Mildred gonna be with Miss Tisdall in at Hamilton's this afternoon? Is she?
Yes.
So, we have 5 ladies and a 13-year-old girl picking out my school clothes for me. In full view of nicer Scott.
Rush, no. Please, get that look off your face. Stop. Quit staring so. Close your mouth. Get on your feet, Rush.
Which concludes another brief interlude at the small house halfway up in the next block. And so we leave Mrs. Beach and Crisco's Vic and Sade until the next time. Don't forget to listen.